TGIFF! Thank goodness. It's Firearms Friday again at the Wyoming State Museum here in Cheyenne. And I have some interesting handguns to share with you today. My name's Evan Green. I'm a volunteer at the museum, and I have the extraordinary opportunity of working with the staff to update the inventory information on the firearms in the museum's collection. And we've had some questions about terminology. So we're going to do a demonstration here today about the difference between a percussion revolver and a cartridge revolver. We have two Star revolvers. These are American-made revolvers in the late 1850s, early 1860s. And this one is a percussion revolver. It is a Navy model. And the Navy designation means that it is a .36 caliber, not necessarily that it was ever issued or used by the Navy. The one on my left here is an Army revolver, and that designation means that it is .44 caliber. So let's just quickly go through the procedure that's required to load a percussion revolver. First of all, the owner would need a powder flask. This happens to be a shot flask, but it is very similar to a powder flask. The powder flask would normally have a spout that would discharge a measured amount of black powder. So what you had to do was use your powder flask and put a charge of powder into each of the 6 charge holes in the percussion revolver. Your next step would be to take one of these .36 caliber lead balls, place it over the top of that charge hole, and then activate this ramming lever, which is on this one frozen in place by corrosion, but activate this rammer or charging lever to press that lead ball down against the powder charge in the chamber. And then the really tricky part is that you need to take one of these tiny percussion caps and fit one of those caps on each of these nipples, and then your firearm is ready to be discharged. You'll note that we've got a pin here that's protruding from the frame. When these came to us, the pins on both of these were missing. We were able to acquire some modern replicas that don't quite exactly fit. So we'll need to work on those to return them to their original configuration. But in any case, that's the procedure that you had to follow to load a percussion revolver. So we'll set this one aside for a minute, and then we'll look at this. This is the Star Army revolver, and again, Army is a designation of caliber, .44 caliber. This particular revolver was kind of a mystery when I first looked at it, because it was like, what? Wait, where's the, what is this? It turns out this revolver, which was probably manufactured in the late 1850s, was probably after the Civil War, was sent to Belgium. And Liege, Belgium was a major firearms manufacturing point in that period of time. So this one also has a pin that allows you to open the revolver and remove the cylinder, at which point you can load that cylinder with .45 Colt cartridges. And what we have here, these are inert cartridges. They're dummy rounds that we use in training or for function testing various firearms. And it is .45 Colt, and you'll notice that all you got to do to load this one is drop those cartridges into the charge holes. Missed that one. Put the cylinder back on the arbor, close the gun, put the pin in, and you're ready to fire. So that was a major advancement in terms of the rapidity of fire of handguns and convenience, because obviously with loose powder, loose balls, and these little percussion caps, there was a tendency or a possibility that the powder could become contaminated by moisture, the balls could become corroded and not fit correctly, the percussion caps, if they were subjected to moisture or solvents, would be inert and not fire. Whereas dealing with cartridges, they're all contained within the cartridge. So you've got the primer, which is the equivalent to the percussion cap. You've got the bullet, which is equivalent to the lead ball that's used in the percussion revolver. And you've got the powder charge sealed inside, in most cases, a brass cartridge case. So it's interesting that Smith & Wesson held the patent on a bored-through cylinder from 1855 to 1869. So they were the only manufacturer that could legitimately use a bored-through cylinder. And the bored-through cylinder is pretty critical to the use of a self-contained cartridge. So there we have two very similar revolvers. One is, again, a percussion revolver, which takes a long time to load, and a conversion to cartridge in the Star Army revolver. Now, there was an intermediate step in that some revolvers were able to take a paper or linen wrapped cartridge that contained the powder charge and the ball, so that it was inserted in the front of the cylinder and set with the ramming lever as one unit. But again, it was subject to damage in a cartridge box. It was subject to contamination by moisture or solvents. So, once again, cartridge revolver and a percussion revolver. Thanks for watching. If you have comments or questions, please make your comments below or contact us directly at the museum. Thank you.